Hey everyone, welcome back to Mind Science Journey. I'm really glad you're here. Seriously, because tonight, we're talking about something that makes me feel small in the best possible way. So picture this. It's late. The room is quiet. Maybe you've got your phone glowing in the dark. Maybe you're watching this on a second monitor while pretending to work. I was doing the same thing when I stumbled across a headline that just stopped me cold. An interstellar comet, not from our solar system, not born around our sun, something that wandered here from another star and is already leaving. Its name? 3I Atlas. And when I read that scientists are debating whether we can chase it before it disappears forever, I actually leaned back in my chair and went, wait, what? Because think about that for a second. This isn't just a space rock. This is a visitor, a traveler, a messenger from a place we've never been and maybe never will. And it showed up quietly, didn't knock, didn't ask permission, and now it's already halfway out the door. Tonight, I want to take you with me into that moment of realization, not as a news report, not as a lecture, but as a shared experience. Like we're just two friends staring up at the same night sky, asking the same impossible questions. I remember the first time space really hit me. Not in a classroom, not from a textbook. It was lying on my back as a kid, staring at the stars until my neck hurt, wondering if any of those tiny points of light were looking back at me. And now, decades later, here we are, humans with telescopes so powerful we can detect objects that don't even belong here. 3I Atlas was spotted almost by accident. That's the wild part. No dramatic warning, no cinematic countdown, just a faint streak of light moving wrong. Too fast, too steep, too strange. Astronomers ran the numbers, checked them again, then again, and that's when the whispers started. This isn't ours. Its trajectory didn't loop around the sun like normal comets. It didn't behave like an asteroid that grew up with us. It was on a hyperbolic path, a cosmic way of saying, I came from somewhere else and I'm not staying. And I don't know about you, but that gives me chills. Now, get this. We've only confirmed a handful of interstellar objects ever. Oumuamua, Borisov, and now 3I Atlas. That's it. That's the guest list. Out of an entire universe filled with trillions of stars, only a few have wandered close enough for us to notice. Which means this moment, this tiny sliver of time where 3I Atlas is close enough to study, it's unbelievably rare. And scientists know it. That's why there's this quiet, urgent conversation happening right now behind the scenes. Engineers, mission planners, dreamers, all asking the same question. What if we tried to catch it? Can you imagine that? Humans launching a spacecraft not to orbit, not to land, not even to return, but to intercept a visitor from another star system. Not to bring it back, just to meet it. Let me slow this down for a second. Because when I say chase, I don't mean like a car chase. This thing is moving tens of kilometers per second. It's already accelerating away from us, pulled by the gravity of our sun, but refusing to be captured. It's like trying to hop onto a bullet after it's already been fired. So the question isn't just can we reach it, it's can we reach it in time? And time is not on our side. Every day that passes, 3I Atlas gets farther away, dimmer, harder to track, harder to reach. There's a kind of sadness in that, right? Like missing someone at an airport by just a few minutes. You know they were there, you know you almost made it, and now they're gone. Here's where it gets personal for me, because this isn't just about science. It's about who we are as a species. We've always looked up and wondered, but wondering is passive. Chasing, that's different. Chasing means saying, we see you, we're curious, and we're willing to try, even if we fail. And oh yeah, failure is very much on the table. Some scientists are brutally honest about it. The technology isn't designed for this, the timeline's insane, the funding questionable, the odds slim. But then there are others, the ones who smile when they talk about it, the ones who say things like, even a flyby would change everything. Because if we could analyze material from another star system, if we could study its composition up close, that would rewrite textbooks. That would tell us whether other planetary systems form the same way ours did, or completely differently. That's not just cool science, that's existential. Let me ask you something, and really think about it. If humanity had one chance to meet something from another star, would you take it, even if it might fail? Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely want to know how you feel about that. And hey, if this kind of deep, late-night science storytelling is your thing, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and stick around. We're not just learning facts here, we're chasing wonder together. Now, let's talk about what 3I-Atlas isn't. It's not a spaceship, it's not aliens, and no, it's not secretly watching us. But it is ancient. This object likely formed billions of years ago around a completely different star, different radiation, different chemistry, different cosmic neighborhood. So it's a time capsule, a frozen piece of another solar system, preserved through unimaginable distances, drifting through the galaxy, until, by sheer coincidence, it crossed paths with us. That thought messes with my head. The Milky Way is about 100,000 light years across, and this thing just wandered. No intent, no destination, just gravity and chance. And now here we are, arguing about whether we can catch up to it with our best machines. There's also something poetic and a little bit heartbreaking about the timing, because we're only just becoming capable of detecting these objects. 100 years ago, we wouldn't have noticed it at all. It would have passed silently, invisibly, and we'd be no wiser. So I wonder, how many interstellar visitors have already come and gone before we learned to look? How many cosmic stories slipped right past us because we weren't ready? Yeah, that one keeps me up at night. As scientists scramble to model trajectories and mission concepts, there's this unspoken truth hanging in the air. Even if we do nothing, 3I-Atlas will leave. It will return to interstellar space, carrying with it the fact that it once passed through a system where intelligent life looked up, noticed, and debated whether to reach out. That's heavy, right? So where does that leave us? Right now, at this exact moment in time, we're standing at a crossroads between curiosity and capability, between wow and what if. And this is just the beginning of the story, because next time I want to take you deeper into the actual mission ideas scientists are throwing around, the wild shortcuts, the insane physics, the this might just work plans that sound like science fiction until they don't. But before we go, have you ever felt that pull, that urge to chase something meaningful, even knowing it might slip away? If you're loving this journey so far, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share this video with someone who still looks up at the stars. All right, welcome back. If you're still here, I love that about you already. Let's keep going. When I stopped recording last time, I just sat there for a minute, camera off, lights still warm, thinking about how wild it is that curiosity itself has a deadline. Because with 3I/Atlas, curiosity isn't abstract, it's measured in kilometers per second. And here's the part that really gets me. This isn't the first time scientists have thought, what if we chased it? But this time, it feels different, more urgent, more possible, and somehow more human. So let me take you behind the curtain a bit. Picture a room full of orbital dynamicists. Yeah, I know, that already sounds intense. Whiteboards full of equations, screens showing simulations, thin, glowing lines curving through black space. These aren't sci-fi dreamers. These are the people who calculate gravity assists down to decimal points that make my head spin. And even they are staring at the numbers for 3i/Atlas like, huh, because the comet is fast, really fast, faster than Oumuamua was when it passed through, faster than Borisov. It's not just leaving, it's bolting. And that's where the crazy ideas start. Someone says, what if we launch early? Someone else says, what if we don't launch from Earth? Another voice, half joking, half serious, goes, what if we steal momentum from Jupiter like a cosmic slingshot? Yes, that's an actual thing. Here's the thing about space missions most people don't realize. They're planned decades in advance, not years, decades. Every bolt, every trajectory, every contingency tested and retested. Chasing an interstellar comet on the fly? That's like deciding to build a race car after the race has already started and the other driver is moving at escape velocity. So the proposals being whispered about right now, they're bold, messy, experimental. One concept involves launching a lightweight probe, something fast, nimble, almost disposable, designed not to slow down or land, but just to rush past the comet and grab data in a split second. Imagine that moment. A machine built by humans, screaming through space, flying past a visitor from another star, cameras firing, instruments screaming with data, all in a window that might last minutes, seconds. Then it's gone. Forever. And I don't know why, but that image makes my chest tighten a little. Because it feels like such a perfect metaphor for us. We don't get long with the truly rare things. We get a moment. And what we do with that moment says everything. Now, let me ground this for a second, because I don't want this to turn into pure poetry without the reality check. There are real obstacles, big ones. Launch windows, miss it by days and you're done. Speed limits, chemical rockets can only go so fast. Funding, no mission survives without money, and money loves certainty. And risk, high-risk missions scare decision makers. Failure doesn't look good on reports. And yet, there's this quiet momentum building around the idea that even trying matters. Because every attempt teaches us something. Every near miss sharpens our tools. And someday, maybe the next interstellar object will be ready. Here's something that surprised me when I dug deeper. Some scientists don't even care if we reach 3i/Atlas. They care that we start designing for the next one. Because now we know they exist. We know they pass through. And statistically, there will be more. Which means this isn't a one-off mystery. It's a new category of exploration. Interstellar archaeology. Yeah, that phrase stuck with me too. Let me ask you something. Have you ever missed an opportunity and realized later that the real lesson wasn't the loss, but the preparation it forced you into? Think about that. Drop it in the comments if you feel like sharing. And hey, if this story is pulling you in, hit that like button and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. We're just getting warmed up, and it really helps the channel keep chasing these big ideas. Now let's zoom out, way out, because 3i/Atlas isn't just a comet, it's evidence. Evidence that planetary systems aren't sealed bubbles, that material gets thrown out violently during planet formation, that stars don't just keep their stuff to themselves. Our solar system likely did the same thing billions of years ago, which means somewhere out there, a fragment of our ancient building blocks might be drifting through another system right now. How wild is that? A piece of Earth's ancient building blocks tumbling through alien starlight, completely unaware of where it came from. And that makes 3i/Atlas less like a stranger and more like a cousin we've never met. There's also this question scientists are obsessed with. Does interstellar material carry different chemistry, different ratios of isotopes, different organic compounds, different formation histories? If we could sample it, even indirectly, we could compare it to our comets, see what's universal and what's unique. And suddenly, you're not just talking about rocks, you're talking about the ingredients of planets, of oceans, of life. Yeah, that escalates quickly. I remember reading a quote from one planetary scientist that stuck with me. I'm paraphrasing, but the feeling was this: interstellar objects are the only samples we'll ever get from another star system, unless we travel there ourselves. And that hit me hard, because interstellar travel isn't happening anytime soon, not for humans, not for probes, realistically. The distances are just cruel. But these objects, they come to us, uninvited, unannounced, rare, fleeting, almost like the universe is nudging us and saying, hey, you wanted to know what's out there? Here, try this. Let's talk about detection for a moment, because the reason we even spotted 3I/Atlas is thanks to modern sky surveys, automated telescopes scanning the heavens every night, comparing images, flagging anything that moves weirdly. And weirdly is the key word. 3I/Atlas didn't behave. It didn't follow the rules we're used to. That's why it stood out. And it makes me wonder, how many things don't stand out yet? How many visitors are slipping past us right now because we haven't learned how to recognize them? That's both humbling and exciting. All right, quick pause because I want to check in with you. Are you feeling that mix of awe and frustration yet? That sense of we're so close and still so small? If you are, welcome to the club. And if this kind of storytelling, science mixed with wonder and emotion and big questions is your vibe, don't forget to like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this exploration now. Before we wrap this part up, I want to leave you with an image. Picture 3I/Atlas right now. It's cold, dark, silent, tumbling through space. No idea it's being watched. No awareness that an entire species noticed it, named it, argued about chasing it, and maybe, just maybe, will try. And in a few years, it'll be gone, back between the stars, another anonymous traveler in an ocean of black. Unless this moment changes how we explore forever. If you knew something rare was passing through your life, briefly, unpredictably, would you drop everything to try and reach it? If this story is resonating with you, smash that like button, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share this video with someone who loves space as much as you do. All right, take a breath with me for a second. Yeah, let's keep going. After part two, I couldn't sleep. I'm not even exaggerating. My brain just kept replaying this idea over and over. What if this is one of those moments we only recognize in hindsight? You know the kind. The moments where years later people say, that's when everything shifted. Because with 3I/ATLS, we're not just observing space anymore. We're starting to react to it. And reaction implies intention. Let me tell you something that doesn't get talked about enough. Astronomy used to be passive. You pointed a telescope, you waited, you recorded. The universe did whatever it wanted and we just watched. But now we're talking about intercepting something that doesn't belong here, adjusting trajectories, launching missions based on discoveries made after the object is already moving away. That's not passive observation anymore. That's engagement. And honestly, that scares some people. There's a philosophical argument bubbling under all this technical talk. You won't hear it in press releases, but you'll hear it late at night at conferences over bad coffee and tired eyes. The question is this: are we ready to stop being spectators of the cosmos and start being participants? Because once you chase one interstellar object, you've crossed a line, a beautiful line, a dangerous one, a defining one. You're no longer just cataloging the universe, you're reaching into it. Now, let's zoom in on the comet itself for a second, because 3I/ATLS isn't just a dot on a screen, it's active. As it passed closer to the sun, it started doing comet things, outgassing, shedding material, forming a faint coma. That's huge, because Oumuamua, that one was weird. No clear tail, no obvious coma. It confused everyone. But 3I ATLS behaves more like what we expect, which paradoxically makes it even more valuable. Why? Because it gives us a baseline, a comparison point, a way to say, okay, interstellar objects can look like this too. And that's science in action, slowly replacing mystery with understanding, without killing the wonder. Here's something else that keeps blowing my mind. The comet's speed tells us something about its past. It wasn't gently nudged out of its home system, it was kicked, probably by a giant planet, a gravitational bully, something Jupiter-sized or bigger, swinging through its birth system and flinging debris into interstellar space like cosmic shrapnel. Which means planetary violence, on a scale we can barely imagine, is common. And suddenly our own solar system doesn't feel so special or so peaceful. Let me pause here and ask you something personal. Have you ever realized that something you thought was unique to you is actually part of a much bigger pattern? That moment can be comforting or unsettling, or both. Drop your thoughts below. I read more comments than you probably think. And if this slow, story-driven dive into science is hitting that sweet spot between science and soul, tap like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're helping keep these deep explorations alive. Now, let's talk about the human side of this chase, because behind every equation, every telescope image, every mission proposal, there are people. People who grew up staring at the same stars we did. Some of them were kids who taped NASA posters to their bedroom walls. Some of them watched Voyager leave the solar system and felt something click inside their chests. And now, they're being asked to answer a wild question. Can you design a mission fast enough to catch something that's already escaping? That's not just engineering, that's pressure. There's this quiet tension between generations of scientists right now. Older researchers, brilliant, experienced, cautious, remember failed missions, blown budgets, political fallout. Younger scientists, they grew up in a world where reusable rockets land themselves, where AI helps model trajectories, where private companies move faster than governments ever did. And they're saying, why not try? That generational friction, that's where breakthroughs often happen. One proposal floating around involves something almost poetic, a spacecraft that doesn't try to slow down. It matches speed, briefly, barely, just enough time to look. No landing, no sample return, just a high-speed handshake between two travelers from different stars. Cameras, spectrometers, dust analyzers. Blink, and then goodbye. And honestly, that might be enough. Here's where I want to get a little quiet with you, because there's something deeply emotional about chasing something you know you can't keep. We're not talking about ownership or conquest or extraction. We're talking about acknowledgement, about saying, you passed through our neighborhood and we noticed. Isn't that kind of beautiful? Let me flip the perspective for a second. Imagine, just imagine, that somewhere else in the galaxy, another civilization exists, ancient, patient, watching. And one day, a strange object passes through their system, something with odd chemistry, familiar physics, a faint signature that suggests it didn't originate there. They detect it, they name it, they argue about chasing it, and then it leaves. That object could be ours, a forgotten shard from the birth of our solar system, and they'll never know where it came from, unless they chase it. Yeah, now you see why my brain won't shut up. All right, let's talk consequences. Because if we succeed, if we intercept an interstellar object, even briefly, it changes priorities. It means future missions will be designed with speed in mind. It means faster response times, smarter surveys, pre-built spacecraft waiting on standby. It means the universe stops being something we only observe on its terms. And that's a big shift. Some people worry about that. Others welcome it. Both reactions are valid. Quick check-in time. Do you think humanity should chase these rare interstellar visitors or just observe them from afar? There's no right answer. I'm genuinely curious where you land. And if this series is hitting that sweet spot between science and soul, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and stay with me. We're building something special here. Before we close this part, I want to leave you with one last thought. 3I doesn't care about us. It doesn't know it was named or studied or debated, and yet its brief presence has already changed how we think about space, about preparedness, about curiosity itself. Sometimes the most powerful encounters are the ones where the other side never even notices. Next time, I want to take you into the future. What happens when interstellar visitors become expected, when detection turns routine, when the next 3I isn't a shock, but an opportunity? Yeah, that's where this gets really interesting. If the universe offered you one fleeting chance to understand something completely foreign, would you take it, even if it terrified you? If this story is resonating, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and stay with me. We're building something special here. All right. Hey, you're still with me. That means a lot. Let's keep pulling on this thread because now we're stepping into the future this comet is quietly dragging behind it. After part 3, I started thinking less about 3I Atlas itself and more about what it represents. Because here's the shift that's happening, slowly, subtly, almost invisibly. Interstellar objects are no longer theoretical. They're no longer once-in-a-lifetime flukes. They're becoming expected. And the moment something becomes expected, everything changes. Let me explain. For most of human history, the sky was static. Stars didn't move. Planets wandered, sure, but the background felt permanent, safe, predictable. Then we learned better. We discovered asteroids, then near-Earth objects, then comets on chaotic paths. And every time, our response evolved. At first, curiosity, then cataloging, then defense. Now, now we're at the edge of something new. Interstellar traffic. Yeah, that phrase still feels unreal when I say it out loud. Scientists are already talking about next-generation sky surveys, telescopes that don't just scan but predict, systems that use AI to flag anomalies instantly, objects that don't fit. Because the real tragedy of 3I Sequoia Atlas isn't that it's leaving, it's that we didn't see it soon enough. If we had detected it earlier, months, even weeks, the conversation would be very different right now. The mission concepts would be bolder, the odds would be better, and that realization, it stings. So now, behind closed doors and open laptops, people are asking, what if the next one shows up tomorrow? Not metaphorically, literally. What if another interstellar object enters the solar system right now? Would we be ready? And the honest answer? Not yet, but we're closer than we've ever been. Here's where things get exciting. Some mission designers are proposing interceptor spacecraft built in advance, not for one specific target, but for whatever comes next. Think about that. A probe sitting on standby, fueled, tested, waiting. The cosmic equivalent of keeping your shoes by the door because you know something unexpected is going to happen. And when it does, you go. Let me pause here. Have you ever prepared for something without knowing exactly what it would be, just knowing it mattered? That's the mindset shift happening in space science right now. Preparation over prediction. And this isn't just about comets. Interstellar objects could carry complex organics, exotic ice compositions, structures formed under radiation conditions completely unlike our own. They might challenge our assumptions about chemistry, geology, even biology. I'm not saying aliens. Let's stay grounded. But I am saying that life's building blocks might be more common and more mobile than we ever imagined. And if that's true, then the universe isn't just vast, it's connected. I want you to imagine something with me. Fast forward 30 years, interstellar detections are routine. Alerts go out like weather reports. New object detected, hyperbolic trajectory, likely extrasolar. And instead of panic or awe, there's readiness. A spacecraft launches within days, not months, not years. It meets the object, studies it, sends data home. And kids grow up knowing that the solar system isn't isolated, it's a crossroads. That version of humanity feels different, doesn't it? But here's the tension. Every technological leap like this forces us to confront why we explore. Is it for knowledge, prestige, survival, curiosity, or something deeper? Because chasing interstellar visitors doesn't protect us. It doesn't make money quickly. It doesn't solve immediate problems. It satisfies something ancient in us, the need to understand what's beyond the firelight. Let me get a little vulnerable here. Sometimes I worry that we're losing that instinct, that everything has to justify itself in quarterly reports and instant returns. And then something like 3I Sequoia Atlas shows up, and suddenly people are talking about wonder again. Not profit, not power, wonder. And that gives me hope. Quick check-in. Do you think curiosity still has a place in a world obsessed with efficiency? I'd love to hear your take in the comments. And if you're enjoying this thoughtful, slow burn approach to science, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're helping keep this space alive. Now, let's bring it back to the comet, because 3I Sequoia Atlas is still out there. Every second it's getting farther away, and yet its influence is growing, because it forced scientists to confront a hard truth. We can't control when the universe sends us something rare. We can only control how ready we are when it happens. There's this haunting idea I can't shake. What if the most important thing 3I Sequoia Atlas ever does is escape? What if its legacy isn't data, but motivation, the catalyst that pushes humanity to finally treat interstellar space not as an abstract concept, but as an active environment? That's powerful. All right, before we close this chapter, let me leave you with one image. Picture a future telescope detecting a new interstellar object, and instead of scrambling, instead of regret, there's calm, because somewhere, waiting patiently, is a spacecraft built for that exact moment, and humanity doesn't hesitate. If we knew the universe would keep sending us mysteries unannounced, would you invest in being ready, even if most days nothing happens? If this journey is lighting something up in you, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share this with someone who loves big questions. Okay, hey, if you're still here, that tells me something about you. You're not just watching, you're wandering with me. Let's keep going. There's a strange emotional shift that happens when something rare becomes inevitable. At first, interstellar objects felt mythical, one-off cosmic flukes, the kind of thing you'd talk about in a footnote or a late-night theory session, never expecting to see one yourself. But now scientists are quietly admitting something huge. The solar system is not closed. Stuff comes in, stuff goes out, all the time. And once you really absorb that, you can't unsee it. I remember staring at a simulation of 3I-ATLS's path, just a thin, glowing line slicing through the sun's gravity well and then shooting back out again. No hesitation, no loop, no goodbye. It didn't orbit us, it visited. And that word, visit, changes everything. Here's where the story takes a more uncomfortable turn. Because if material from other star systems can wander into ours, then the reverse is also true, which means the galaxy is full of debris from countless planetary systems, intermingling, crossing paths, exchanging matter. And that leads to a question that makes some scientists uneasy. Could life's building blocks spread this way? Not intelligent life, not spaceships, just chemistry. Organic molecules hitching rides on frozen travelers, seeds drifting between stars over billions of years. I'm not saying it's proven, I'm saying it's possible. And possibility is enough to keep entire research teams awake at night. This is where interstellar comets stop being just space rocks and start becoming philosophical grenades. Because if the raw ingredients of life can move between systems, then life might not be as isolated as we think. It might not start from scratch every time. It might borrow. That idea, called panspermia, has been around for a long time, mostly at the edges of science. But objects like 3I-ATLS drag it back into serious conversation, not because it proves anything, but because it removes excuses. Let me slow this down. We're not talking about aliens visiting Earth. We're talking about a universe where chemistry travels, where carbon compounds don't respect borders, where the line between us and them gets blurrier the more we look. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. Let me ask you something real. Does the idea that we might be connected to other star systems, chemically, historically, comfort you or unsettle you? There's no wrong answer. Drop your thoughts below. I want to see how this hits you. And hey, if this blend of science, philosophy, and storytelling is your thing, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this now. Now let's talk about loss, because here's the quiet truth no one really says out loud. We are going to miss 3I-ATLS. There won't be a last-minute miracle launch, no dramatic interception at the edge of the solar system, no slow-motion flyby with triumphant music. Most likely, it will leave unseen by anything but telescopes. And that hurts. But maybe that's okay, because sometimes missing something teaches us more than catching it ever could. Think about how many things in human history were missed just barely. Continents sailed past unseen, signals ignored, moments dismissed, and each miss reshaped what came next. 3I-ATLS might be one of those moments, not a failure, but a lesson. There's a quote I keep coming back to, again, paraphrased, but the spirit matters. Exploration doesn't begin when we succeed. It begins when we decide failure is worth the attempt. And right now, humanity is standing right on that line. We didn't catch this one, but we're already preparing for the next one. Here's something that really sticks with me. Long after 3I-ATLS is gone, long after its name fades from headlines, the infrastructure it inspired will remain. Better surveys, faster response missions, smarter detection systems, all because one quiet visitor passed through and reminded us how unprepared we were. That's legacy. Let me paint you one last image before we close this chapter. Picture interstellar space, not empty, but filled with travelers, frozen shards, ancient debris, messengers with no intent. They pass between stars for millions, billions of years, and once in a while, one of them brushes by a young civilization that has just learned how to look up. And that civilization, us, has to decide what kind of species it wants to be. One that watches quietly, or one that reaches? All right, let's land this. If missing one rare moment could prepare humanity for countless future ones, would you still call it a loss? If this journey made you think, feel, or look at the sky a little differently, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this now. All right, welcome back. Part 6. Yeah, we're really in this now. You know what keeps echoing in my head? Not the speed, not the distance, not even the missed opportunity. It's the idea that the universe doesn't wait for readiness. 3I Atlas didn't slow down because we weren't prepared. It didn't linger so we could catch our breath. It passed through on its own schedule, indifferent, precise, unstoppable. And somehow, that feels like one of the most honest lessons space has ever taught us. There's this moment that happens to a lot of scientists when they talk about interstellar objects. Their voice changes just a little. They stop sounding like professionals explaining data and start sounding like humans reacting to something bigger than their job. They'll say things like, "We were lucky to see it at all." And that sentence carries so much weight because luck is not a strategy. Let me take you into the mindset shift that's happening right now. For decades, space science worked on the assumption that the most interesting things stay put long enough for us to plan. Planets orbit predictably, moons come back around, asteroids can be tracked for years. Interstellar objects? They don't care about our calendars. They show up already moving at escape velocity, and they leave before bureaucracy even wakes up. So now the question becomes, can humanity learn to act faster than its own hesitation? That's not a technical problem. That's a cultural one. I want to talk about speed, not just physical speed, but decision speed. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. We already have the technology to do more than we think. What slows us down isn't physics, it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of wasted resources, fear of embarrassment, fear of trying something that might not work. And interstellar objects don't give us time to be afraid. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever missed something important, not because you couldn't do it, but because you waited too long to decide? Yeah, that one hurts a little. Drop it in the comments if it resonates. And if you're finding yourself thinking along with me, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this conversation now. Here's where the story takes a turn inward, because the debate around chasing 3-Eye Atlas isn't just about space. It's about how we respond to the unknown. Do we demand certainty before action, or do we accept uncertainty as the price of discovery? Every great leap in exploration, oceans, poles, skies, came from people choosing the second option. Space is no different. There's a term engineers use that I love, good enough. Not perfect, not guaranteed, just good enough to try. And chasing an interstellar object doesn't require perfection. It requires courage. Let's imagine, just hypothetically, that a future mission fails. The probe misses its target, data is incomplete, the headlines call it a waste. What do we really lose? Money? Yes. Time? Some. Ego? Definitely. But what do we gain? Experience, momentum, confidence to move faster next time. Failure in this context isn't a dead end, it's training. This is something space agencies don't always say out loud, but it's understood. The first attempt at anything groundbreaking is rarely the one that succeeds. Voyager wasn't perfect, Apollo wasn't safe, early Mars missions failed a lot, but they laid the groundwork for everything that followed. 3-Eye Atlas might be doing the same thing without us ever touching it. Let's zoom back out to the galaxy for a moment. Our sun orbits the Milky Way once every 230 million years. During that time, it passes near other stars, through dense regions, through cosmic debris fields, which means interstellar encounters aren't freak accidents. They're part of the galaxy's rhythm. We're just late to noticing them. And that realization reframes everything. Interstellar objects aren't anomalies. They're messengers of scale, reminders that space is dynamic, interactive, and constantly exchanging material. We just happen to wake up in time to catch a glimpse. All right, pause with me for a second. Do you think humanity's biggest limitation in space is technology or mindset? I'd really love to hear your take. And if you're enjoying this slow, reflective exploration, like the video and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this conversation now. Before we end part 6, I want to share a quiet thought that's been sitting with me. Maybe the reason 3-Eye Atlas feels so important isn't because it came from another star. Maybe it's because it arrived at a moment when we're finally capable of noticing and almost capable of responding. Almost. That gap between noticing and reaching, that's where growth happens. Next time, I want to take you into the emotional heart of exploration, the moment when humanity decides that trying matters more than certainty, because that decision, that's coming sooner than we think. If acting faster meant accepting a higher chance of failure, would you still choose to act? If this series is pushing you to think deeper, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves big questions. All right, hey, part 7. At this point, it feels less like a series and more like a long night conversation under the stars. And honestly, that's exactly what I wanted. Let's keep going. There's a moment in every exploration story that doesn't get enough attention. Not the launch, not the discovery, not even the success or failure. It's the decision, the quiet, unglamorous moment where someone says, yes, we're doing this. And with 3IATAS, that moment almost happened. Almost. I want you to imagine the emails, the meetings, the late night Zoom calls where someone's screen freezes mid sentence while they're explaining a trajectory that only works if everything goes right. People leaning back in their chairs, rubbing their eyes, thinking, is this worth it? Because that's the real question. Not can we chase it, but should we? Here's what makes this decision uniquely hard. Interstellar objects don't offer closure. There's no long-term orbit, no return visit, no second chance. You either act fast or you watch it fade. And watching something fade, knowing you might have reached it, is its own kind of regret. Let me be honest with you. I think one of the reasons this story resonates so deeply is because it mirrors real life way too closely. Opportunities that arrive unexpectedly, moments that don't wait for permission, chances that don't repeat themselves, and the voice in your head saying, maybe later. Spoiler, later doesn't always come. Quick pause. Have you ever looked back and realized the window was smaller than you thought? Yeah, me too. If you're comfortable sharing, drop it in the comments. You're not alone in that feeling. And if this kind of reflective science storytelling is your thing, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. We're blending the cosmic with the human, and that's the whole point. Now, let's talk about responsibility. Because once you can do something, even imperfectly, choosing not to act becomes a decision in itself. And that's where 3IATAS quietly challenges us. We're no longer in the era of ignorance. We know interstellar objects exist. We know they pass through. We know they're rare and valuable. So the next time one shows up, not trying won't be neutral. It'll be intentional. That's a heavy thought because it means curiosity now comes with accountability. There's another layer here that people don't like to admit: prestige. The first civilization to intercept an interstellar object, that's history book stuff. That's a line that never gets erased. And yet, the pursuit of prestige can't be the reason, because prestige fades, understanding lasts. I keep thinking about Voyager. When it launched, no one knew it would become the most distant human-made object in history. It was just another mission, another risk. And now, Voyager carries a golden record, a message drifting through interstellar space. We didn't send it expecting a reply. We sent it because saying we were here mattered. And now interstellar space is sending something back. Not a message, not a greeting, just presence. And we're being asked whether we'll answer. Let's flip the lens again. What if we never chase an interstellar object? What if we decide it's too hard, too risky, too uncertain? Science would still progress, telescopes would still improve, knowledge would still grow, but something subtle would be lost: the willingness to reach beyond observation. And once that fades, it's hard to bring back. All right, grounding moment. Do you think humanity grows more by bold attempts or careful restraint? There's wisdom in both. I'm genuinely curious where you land. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're helping keep curiosity alive. Here's a thought that keeps circling my mind. Maybe interstellar objects aren't tests of technology. Maybe they're tests of character, of patience, of courage, of humility. Because no matter how advanced we become, the universe will always be bigger, faster, and less concerned with our timelines. And learning to act anyway, that's growth. As 3I ATAS fades into the dark, it leaves behind more than data gaps. It leaves behind a question that won't go away. What kind of explorers do we want to be? The cautious kind who waits for guarantees, or the curious kind who accepts risk as the price of wonder? Let me leave you with this image. Somewhere beyond the outer planets, beyond the heliosphere, 3I ATAS is already slipping back into interstellar night. No spotlight, no applause, no awareness of the debates it sparked, just motion. And here on Earth, a species that's still deciding how brave it wants to be, watches it go. If courage had a deadline, would you act before it passed or wait until you were sure? If this story is making you think in new ways, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves big ideas. All right, here we go. Part 8. By now, if you're still with me, you're not just a viewer, you're traveling through this story with me. And I love that. I want to take you into the human side of this chase because all the telescopes, trajectories, and mission proposals don't matter without the people behind them. Imagine the scientists, engineers, and mission planners right now, the ones who scroll through nightly data from survey telescopes and see that tiny, fast-moving speck across the blackness of space. Their hearts skip a beat. They know instantly that this is rare, almost unimaginably rare. And then the thinking starts. What if we could reach it? What if this is our chance to study something completely alien? What if this changes everything we know? And with each question, a weight settles in their chests, the weight of responsibility, opportunity, and impossibility all mixed together. Here's the wild part. Because catching an interstellar comet is not just about speed or technology, it's about coordination. Launch windows have to align perfectly. Rockets, probes, trajectory planners, engineers, and scientists all have to sync like a giant cosmic orchestra. One misstep, and the comet is gone. Imagine orchestrating a symphony where the instruments are billions of kilometers apart, moving at thousands of kilometers per hour. And yet, these people, sometimes bleary-eyed, fueled by coffee and obsession, are working on it anyway because the chance is there, and chances this rare don't come often. Let me be honest. Part of what fascinates me is the urgency of this moment. With most scientific discoveries, we have years, decades even, to prepare, to plan, to execute. Not with 3I-ATLS. This visitor is moving faster than anything we've chased before. Every day that passes, it slips further from our reach. Every day, the window narrows. And that pressure, it doesn't just push engineers. It inspires them. It terrifies them. And somehow that tension produces brilliance. I want to tell you about one concept scientists are tossing around, something that sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie, a microprobe swarm. Instead of sending one large, complex spacecraft, the idea is to launch dozens or hundreds of tiny probes. Each one is cheap, fast, and disposable. They would fly past the comet, taking thousands of measurements, high-resolution images, spectroscopy, particle sampling, whatever they can grab in the fleeting seconds of encounter. And even if most fail, A few succeed, enough to revolutionize our understanding of interstellar material. It's almost poetic. Humanity's first real handshake with a comet from another star, delivered by a cloud of tiny, desperate machines. Here's where it gets emotional for me. Think about the scale of this. 3I-ATLS has traveled billions of kilometers across space, untouched, unnoticed. And now, just for a moment, humans want to reach out, to touch it with technology born of our planet. The audacity of that. It's scary and inspiring and heartbreakingly fragile. Quick pause. Have you ever tried something you knew was almost impossible, but the chance was worth the risk? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear these stories. They connect us to this human aspect of exploration. And if this kind of story resonates with you, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. We're building a community that dares to wonder. Now let's talk about the science. Because what makes 3I-ATLS so valuable isn't just that it came from another star, it's what it carries. Interstellar comets like this are essentially time capsules. They preserve the chemistry of their birth system. Frozen organic molecules, exotic ices, dust grains formed around alien suns. Studying it up close, even briefly, could reveal how planetary systems form elsewhere, whether organic compounds essential for life are universal, and clues about the diversity of matter in our galaxy. And that's just the start. Here's a thought that kept me awake for hours after reading about this comet. If we succeed, even partially, what we learn could reshape biology, chemistry, and planetary science simultaneously. A tiny rock passing through our solar system could answer questions we've been asking for centuries. Questions about where we came from and whether the building blocks of life are unique to Earth. And all of this cosmic conversation, happens in a matter of weeks, months at most. I like to zoom out at times like this. From Earth, we see stars as steady points of light, immovable, eternal. But in reality, they're bustling hubs of matter, sending fragments careening across space. Each star system throws comets and asteroids into the galaxy. Every once in a while, one of those fragments passes near us. We're just starting to notice. 3I-ATLS is the wake-up call. All right, check in with you. Does the scale of this, billions of kilometers, billions of years, tiny human probes trying to intercept a visitor, make you feel awe, fear, or something else entirely? I really want to know. Comments below. And if this cosmic storytelling is your jam, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and join us for the next part. You won't want to miss it. Before we close Part 8, I want you to picture this. A microprobe streaks past 3I-ATLS, a few milliseconds, flash of light, data transmitted home, and then silence. The comet continues its journey, indifferent, silent, ancient. And humanity, tiny and fragile, has reached out across interstellar space and touched something from another star, even briefly, even imperfectly, even if the rest of the probes fail, because trying matters. If the universe offered a fleeting chance to touch something truly alien, would you leap or hesitate? If this story is making you feel small, connected, and inspired all at once, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share this with someone who loves wonder. All right, Part 9. By now, we're deep into this journey, and I love that you're still here, traveling through it with me. After Part 8, I couldn't stop thinking about the fleeting nature of 3I/Atlas's visit. How brief it is in cosmic terms, how vast the gulf between opportunity and preparation, and yet how much it can teach us in just a few weeks. It's that tension, The fleeting chance coupled with immense potential that makes the story so emotionally gripping. Let's talk about the scientists again, the ones working in labs, mission control, and observatories. They're living with a constant countdown in their minds. Every day, the comet is moving farther away. Every day, calculations grow more critical, more precise. Imagine the pressure. Imagine the adrenaline of knowing that a mistake of just a few seconds could make all your work meaningless. And yet, there's excitement there too. That energy, the combination of fear and hope that drives innovation, that's the heartbeat of exploration. Here's a fun but serious idea floating around. Instead of just one spacecraft or a swarm, why not a series of flyby missions, each one slightly faster than the last, each one capturing different aspects of the comet? Some probes focus on dust, others on gas emissions, others on high-resolution imaging. A coordinated ballet of tiny machines chasing a cosmic visitor, all while it races out of the solar system. It's insane, beautifully insane, and if it works, revolutionary. I like to step back and think about what it would feel like to be on one of those probes. No consciousness, of course, but imagine sensors detecting particles from another star, spectrometers reading alien chemistry, cameras capturing shapes and textures that formed light years away. A tiny machine, silent, cold, alone, yet somehow making contact with something ancient and unknown. That's humanity's curiosity personified. Here's a philosophical layer I want to unpack. The comet doesn't belong to us. It's not ours to claim. It has no loyalty to Earth. It won't stop for us. And yet, in reaching out, we acknowledge it. We witness it. We interact with it in whatever small way we can. There's something profoundly human about that. Hmm. Let's talk about what we might learn. Chemical analysis could reveal isotopes never seen before in our solar system. Organic molecules that suggest life's building blocks might be more common than we thought. Dust particles that tell stories about alien star systems and their planetary formation processes. Even a single flyby could provide insights for generations of scientists. And the most incredible part? All of this knowledge comes from something that isn't ours, that doesn't care about us, that simply passed through. Quick pause. Have you ever felt connected to something entirely indifferent to your existence, but profoundly moved by it anyway? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear how that resonates. And if this mix of science, wonder, and reflection feels like your kind of content, like the video and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this exploration. Now let's get practical. Chasing an interstellar object requires more than just imagination. Trajectory calculations. Every second counts. A millisecond misstep and the comet is gone. Propulsion challenges. Conventional rockets may not be fast enough. New tech may be needed. Communication delays. These probes could be hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Every command takes minutes, even hours. Budget constraints. High-risk, high-reward missions struggle to secure funding. And yet, all of these obstacles are exactly what makes the effort meaningful. Because trying, even imperfectly, is the essence of exploration. Here's a human angle that fascinates me. Some scientists argue over which approach is better: slow, heavy, data-rich spacecraft versus light, fast, high-risk probes. Those debates are intense, tense, emotional, and often they happen in real time as the comet moves. I love imagining those late-light discussions over coffee, whiteboards full of equations, each person weighing risk versus opportunity. Humanity at its most brilliant and vulnerable. Let's zoom out. 3i/Atlas is a visitor, but it's also a messenger. It's telling us the universe is bigger, faster, less patient than we are. And if we want to understand it, we have to meet it halfway. The message isn't loud. It's quiet, subtle, almost invisible. But for those paying attention, it's profound. All right, check in. Do you think humanity will be ready for the next interstellar visitor? Or will we always be scrambling, just barely missing the chance? Comments below. I want your take. And if this cosmic storytelling inspires awe, curiosity, or reflection, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're helping build a community that dares to wonder. Before we wrap part 9, I want to leave you with an image. A tiny probe streaks past 3I/Atlas. Milliseconds of observation, data transmitted home. The comet continues its journey through interstellar space, silent, indifferent, ancient. And humanity, small, fragile, brilliant, has reached out, touched something from another star, and learned just a little more about the universe. Even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. If the universe gave you one fleeting chance to touch something ancient and alien, would you reach or wait? If this journey inspires awe, curiosity, or reflection, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're helping build a community that dares to wonder. All right, part 10. Here we are, still drifting through this story together, and I love that you're still along for the ride. Let's dive in. After part 9, I kept thinking about scale. Not just the comet's size, not just the distances, but the scale of our opportunity versus our fragility. 3I Atlas is fleeting. Its time in our solar system is measured in weeks. And yet, the ripple of its presence stretches across disciplines, generations, and imaginations. It's humbling and thrilling. Let's talk about human anticipation. When an interstellar object is detected, every telescope in the world, and some that aren't even publicly listed, suddenly pivots. Teams run calculations, adjust schedules, and plan observations. For the astronomers involved, it's like the universe just hit the fast forward button, and they're sprinting to keep up. The adrenaline in that room, that lab, that control center, it's palpable. Some describe it as the closest thing to panic they've ever felt, paired with pure joy. Here's the fascinating tension. Time is the enemy, but also the teacher. Every hour lost is an opportunity gone, yes, but every hour spent planning carefully increases the chance of meaningful success. It's a delicate balance. Too slow and the comet escapes. Too hasty and your data is useless. And that right there is why chasing interstellar objects is both a logistical nightmare and a philosophical dream. I want to give you a mental picture. Imagine dozens of tiny probes, all built for speed, all coordinated perfectly. Each one captures a fraction of a second of cometary data, a flash of light, a sample of dust, a whisper of gas molecules. Each piece of information is precious. Each fraction of a second could unlock secrets of another star system. And the probes themselves? They're almost invisible, disappearing into the void after their moment. Humanity's audacity in action. Now let's zoom in on the science. 3I Atlas isn't just fast, it's chemically rich. Its tail, its coma, the dust it sheds, all these components could contain molecules we've never seen before, amino acids, organic compounds, even prebiotic chemistry shaped in an alien environment. And here's the kicker. Studying it could help answer a question that's haunted humanity for centuries. Are we unique, or is life's chemistry universal? Even a fleeting encounter could provide clues that reverberate across biology, chemistry, and planetary science. I like to think about the comet as a storyteller, not conscious, not intentional, but carrying a narrative of its own, a journey across light years, through radiation, stellar winds, and time itself. And our tiny, fragile attempts to intercept it, our way of reading that story, even imperfectly, even briefly. Pause for reflection. Have you ever felt small in face of something immense and yet somehow part of it anyway? Comments below. I want to hear how this resonates. And if this kind of reflective storytelling connects with you, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this cosmic conversation. Here's another layer. The comet also tests our imagination. Where if one of these interstellar objects carried something unexpected, an unknown mineral, an exotic ice, or even something we can't yet classify? Science is built on curiosity, but moments like this stretch curiosity into courage, the courage to ask questions we don't yet know how to answer. And that's what makes chasing Three-Eye Atlas so emotionally intense. It's not just a rock, it's a messenger, a challenge, a question posed in motion across the galaxy. And for those willing to reach, it offers answers, or at least glimpses. Quick check-in. Would you risk everything for a brief encounter with the unknown, knowing you might fail completely? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious about how you weigh risk and curiosity. And if you're enjoying this immersive journey, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. Together, we're exploring wonder in real time. Before we close part 10, picture this. A probe streaks past Three-Eye Atlas. Sensors flare. Data is captured. Signals transmitted home. The comet continues its journey, indifferent and ancient, and humanity, small, fragile, and imperfect, has reached out and touched something truly alien, even just for a moment, even imperfectly, because trying matters. If the universe gave you a single, fleeting chance to witness something beyond comprehension, would you take it or hesitate? If this story makes you feel awe, curiosity, or connection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves wonder. All right, part 11. I laughed softly. By now, if you're still here, you're not just following a story, you're living it with me. Let's dive deeper. After part 10, I kept circling back to one thing: anticipation. There's a unique kind of tension when humanity faces something completely foreign, yet within reach. The comet doesn't pause, it doesn't wait, it doesn't care. And yet, for a fleeting moment, all our attention is drawn to it. It's both humbling and exhilarating. Let's talk about the people behind the pursuit. Engineers designing microprobes, programmers tweaking trajectory algorithms, scientists debating the exact composition of comet dust. Every single person feels the pressure. Every second counts. But there's also wonder. Even amidst stress, there's that quiet, almost spiritual thrill. We might actually touch something from another star. It's a feeling most humans experience only once in a lifetime, if at all. I want you to picture the comet's path. Billions of kilometers traveled, zipping through the solar system, shaped by gravitational forces, radiation, and interstellar winds. A perfect trajectory, indifferent to our plans. And we're trying to meet it. Insane, right? And yet, that's the heartbeat of space exploration. Audacious, fragile, brilliant. Here's where things get really interesting. Some proposals suggest multiple intercept missions, each with a slightly different approach. One focuses on dust particles, another on volatile gases, another on high-resolution imaging of the comet's nucleus. Each tiny, fast, expendable, each capturing a fragment of a story billions of years in the making. And even if most fail, a few succeed, enough to teach us about alien chemistry, planetary formation, and maybe even the universality of life's building blocks. Let's pause and get philosophical. Three-Eye/Atlas isn't ours. It belongs to the cosmos. It owes us nothing. And yet, in our attempt to reach it, we acknowledge it, we witness it, we interact. There's something profoundly human about that act, a tiny gesture of recognition across light years. I like to imagine the comet as a storyteller. It has a narrative written in ice, dust, and molecular composition, millions, maybe billions of years of history embedded in its structure. And our probes, our instruments, they are the readers, even if only briefly, even if imperfectly. Quick check-in. Have you ever felt connected to something that could never notice you, but moved you deeply anyway? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this blend of science, storytelling, and reflection resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. We're building a community that dares to wonder. Now, let's talk about potential discoveries. 3I/Atlas could carry organic molecules not yet observed in our solar system, compounds that hint at life's building blocks traveling between stars. Even brief analysis could revolutionize our understanding of chemistry and biology. And that's the essence of why this comet matters. It's a fleeting window into something completely alien, yet potentially connected to life as we know it. Pause for reflection. Imagine the probe streaking past, milliseconds of data, signals transmitted home. The comet continues, indifferent, ancient, relentless. And humanity, small and fragile, has reached out and touched something from another star, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. All right, question for you. If given a single chance to study something completely alien, would you act despite the risk or hesitate? And don't forget, if this journey sparks curiosity, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the universe. All right, part 12. Here we go. If you're still with me, you're not just watching, you're traveling through this story with me. Let's dive deeper. After part 11, I couldn't stop thinking about timing. The comet isn't waiting for anyone. Every moment, it slips farther away, faster than we can physically intercept it without perfect calculations. And yet, for a brief time, the universe offers us a chance, a fleeting window of possibility. It's exhilarating and terrifying. Let's talk about the scientists again. Picture them in observatories, labs, and mission control centers. Coffee in hand, screens filled with data, trajectories, simulations. Every move counts. Every calculation could make the difference between success and failure. And yet, they're energized by it. That tension between pressure and possibility drives innovation in ways calm, predictable environments never could. Here's a mental image I love. Imagine dozens of microprobes, each built for speed and resilience, coordinating like a swarm to intercept the comet. Some will fail, some will succeed, but collectively they capture a mosaic of information about a visitor from another star. Humanity's audacity distilled into tiny machines streaking through space. Let's talk science. 3I/Atlas isn't just a comet, it's a time capsule. Dust grains formed around alien stars, organic molecules that hint at prebiotic chemistry, exotic isotopes never seen in our solar system. Studying it, even for milliseconds, could reshape our understanding of chemistry, planetary formation, and perhaps the universality of life's building blocks. And all this from a single fleeting visitor. Philosophically, there's a layer here I can't shake. The comet doesn't belong to us. It owes us nothing. It doesn't wait. Yet humanity chooses to reach out, to observe, to measure. It's a tiny gesture of connection across light years. And in that gesture lies something profoundly human: curiosity, audacity, and courage. Quick reflection. Have you ever felt compelled to act even though the moment was fleeting and the outcome uncertain? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this mix of storytelling, science, and reflection resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this journey. Now, let's think about the mission itself. Timing is everything. Launch windows must align perfectly. Trajectories must account for gravity, velocity, and solar radiation. Communication delays mean probes must operate semi-autonomously. And all of this happens while the comet hurtles through space, indifferent to our plans. It's a dance with physics, a test of human ingenuity. Imagine a probe streaking past the comet, milliseconds of exposure, data transmitted home, every particle measured, every photon captured, and then it's gone, leaving the comet to continue its journey, silent and ancient. Even briefly, humanity has reached out. Even imperfectly, we've connected with something truly alien. Check in with you. Would you take a high-risk chance at discovery, knowing most attempts might fail? Comments below. I want to hear your perspective. And if this story inspires you to look up at the stars differently, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. Before we close part 12, picture this. 3I-Atlas continues its journey, billions of kilometers away. The comet doesn't care about humanity's curiosity, and yet we care. And that care, our willingness to reach out, to try, to observe, is what defines us as explorers. Even if the encounter is brief, even if imperfect, because trying matters. If the universe offered a single fleeting chance to touch the unknown, would you reach or wait? If this story sparks awe and curiosity, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 13. By now, if you're still with me, you're not just following a story, you're living it. Let's dive deeper. After part 12, I kept thinking about perspective. From Earth, we see 3I Atlas as a tiny streak of light, but from a cosmic viewpoint, it's a massive, ancient traveler hurtling through the galaxy for millions, maybe billions of years. And here we are, tiny humans, deciding whether we'll reach out to touch it, even briefly. That gap between our scale and the comet's, it's humbling. Let's talk about the human element again. Mission planners, engineers, and astronomers feel a mix of fear and excitement. Every decision carries weight. Every calculation is critical. And yet, the thrill of potentially making first contact with something interstellar drives them forward. Imagine the tension, a countdown not to a rocket launch, but to the comet's fleeting passage. Seconds and milliseconds determining whether we succeed or miss it entirely. Here's a concept that's being discussed: a distributed sensor network. Instead of one probe, dozens of tiny, cheap sensors could be deployed, each taking measurements and sending data home. Some will fail, some will succeed, but collectively they create a detailed picture of the comet's composition and behavior. It's messy, risky, and brilliant. Everything exploration should be. Now the science. 3I Atlas could carry compounds we've never observed. Organic molecules, isotopes, dust grains from a star system completely alien to ours. Even a single flyby could teach us about planetary formation, the distribution of organics in the galaxy, and perhaps whether life's building blocks are common beyond Earth. It's a fleeting opportunity to answer some of humanity's oldest questions. Here's the philosophical layer. The comet doesn't owe us anything. It doesn't pause. It doesn't wait. And yet, humanity chooses to observe it, to reach out, to measure it. That choice, that act of curiosity and audacity, is profoundly human. Quick reflection. Have you ever pursued something fleeting and uncertain, knowing it might change everything if you succeed? Comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences. And if this journey resonates, Hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this exploration. Let's talk logistics. Timing is everything. Launch windows, trajectory calculations, communication delays, autonomous probe operations all must align perfectly. One mistake and the comet slips away forever. But that's exactly what makes the attempt meaningful. The risk amplifies the reward. Picture a probe streaking past 3I Atlas, milliseconds of observation, data transmitted home, every particle measured, every photon captured. Then silence. The comet continues its journey, indifferent, ancient, unstoppable. And humanity, small and fragile, has reached out and touched something from another star, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Check in. Would you act on a rare chance, knowing failure was likely, but success could be monumental? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this journey resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of Cosmos. Before we end part 13, picture this. The comet drifts farther away, time passes, and yet our brief contact, our tiny gesture of curiosity, leaves a mark on human understanding. It doesn't need acknowledgement from the comet. It doesn't need applause. Our attempt alone shapes our future, because reaching matters. If the universe offered a fleeting chance to witness something ancient and alien, would you take it or hesitate? If this story sparks awe, curiosity, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 14. Here we go, deeper into the journey. If you're still with me, you're not just following a story, you're living it alongside me. After part 13, I kept thinking about ephemerality. 3I Atlas is here for a blink in cosmic terms, weeks, maybe months, and then gone. Gone from our solar system, gone from our reach, gone from any chance of direct study. And yet, its passage ripples through minds, telescopes, and labs across the globe. It's fleeting, fragile, and absolutely magnificent. Let's revisit the human element. Imagine a scientist sitting in front of multiple monitors, tracking the comet's trajectory. Their hands tremble slightly. Every adjustment matters. Every second counts. The tension is real, palpable, and oddly beautiful, because even though failure is possible, likely even, they feel alive, truly alive. That's what exploration does. It puts you at the edge of everything you know. Here's a futuristic idea being discussed. A swarm of microprobes, each with a specialized mission. Some analyze dust, others measure volatile gases, others image the nucleus in extreme detail. Even if most fail, a few succeed, enough to create a mosaic of data, a glimpse into a star system light years away. It's audacious, messy, fragile, and utterly human. Now, science again. 3I Atlas is a time capsule. It's ice, dust, and molecules formed around another star. Organic compounds, isotopic ratios, materials that haven't been touched by our sun's influence. Even a brief flyby could help answer questions we've pondered for centuries. Are the building blocks of life universal? How do planetary systems form around other stars? How much do we share with the wider galaxy? A comet, passing silently, holds answers we've long sought. Philosophically, the comet doesn't care. It doesn't wait. It doesn't respond. And yet, humanity chooses to observe it, to reach out, to measure it. That choice, curiosity in action, is what defines us. Quick reflection. Have you ever felt the pull of something so fleeting that missing it would hurt, but reaching for it was scary? Drop your experiences in the comments. And if this blend of science, reflection, and storytelling resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this adventure. Let's talk practicalities. Intercepting an interstellar object isn't easy. Launch windows are narrow. Trajectories must be precise. Communication delays mean probes must operate autonomously. Funding and risk assessments make timing critical. And yet, these constraints make the effort meaningful. Risk heightens the reward. Picture this, a microprobe streaking past 3i Atlas, milliseconds of exposure, data captured, signals transmitted home. Then silence. The comet continues, indifferent, ancient, unstoppable. And humanity, small and fragile, has reached out, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Check in. Would you take a high-risk chance at discovery, knowing success was uncertain, but the reward could be transformative? Comments below. I want to hear your take. And if this cosmic storytelling inspires you, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the wonders of the cosmos. Before we end part 14, picture this. The comet drifts away, billions of kilometers into interstellar space. Our encounter is brief, almost invisible, and yet it matters. Humanity reached, touched, and learned, even imperfectly, even briefly, because reaching matters. If the universe offered one fleeting, transformative opportunity, would you take it or hesitate? If this journey sparks awe, curiosity, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 14. Here we go, deeper into the journey. If you're still with me, you're not just following a story, you're living it alongside me. After part 13, I kept thinking about ephemerality. 3i Atlas is here for a blink in cosmic terms, weeks, maybe months, and then gone. Gone from our solar system, gone from our reach, gone from any chance of direct study. And yet, its passage ripples through minds, telescopes, and labs across the globe. It's fleeting, fragile, and absolutely magnificent. Let's revisit the human element. Imagine a scientist sitting in front of multiple monitors, tracking the comet's trajectory. Their hands tremble slightly. Every adjustment matters. Every second counts. The tension is real, palpable, and oddly beautiful, because even though failure is possible, likely even, they feel alive, truly alive. That's what exploration does. It puts you at the edge of everything you know. Here's a futuristic idea being discussed. A swarm of microprobes, each with a specialized mission. Some analyze dust, others measure volatile gases, others image the nucleus in extreme detail. Even if most fail, a few succeed, enough to create a mosaic of data, a glimpse into a star system light years away. It's audacious, messy, fragile, and utterly human. Now, science again. 3i Atlas is a time capsule. It's ice, dust, and molecules formed around another star. Organic compounds, isotopic ratios, materials that haven't been touched by our sun's influence. Even a brief flyby could help answer questions we've pondered for centuries. Are the building blocks of life universal? How do planetary systems form around other stars? How much do we share with the wider galaxy? A comet, passing silently, holds answers we've long sought. Philosophically, the comet doesn't care. It doesn't wait. It doesn't respond. And yet, humanity chooses to observe it, to reach out, to measure it. That choice, curiosity in action, is what defines us. Quick reflection. Have you ever felt the pull of something so fleeting that missing it would hurt, but reaching for it was scary? Drop your experiences in the comments. And if this blend of science, reflection, and storytelling resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this adventure. Let's talk practicalities. Intercepting an interstellar object isn't easy. Launch windows are narrow. Trajectories must be precise. Communication delays mean probes must operate autonomously. Funding and risk assessments make timing critical. And yet, these constraints make the effort meaningful. Risk heightens the reward. Picture this, a microprobe streaking past 3-eye Atlas, milliseconds of exposure, data captured, signals transmitted home. Then silence. The comet continues, indifferent, ancient, unstoppable. And humanity, small and fragile, has reached out, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Check in. Would you take a high-risk chance at discovery, knowing success was uncertain, but the reward could be transformative? Comments below. I want to hear your take. And if this cosmic storytelling inspires you, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the wonders of the cosmos. Before we end part 14, picture this. The comet drifts away, billions of kilometers into interstellar space. Our encounter is brief, almost invisible, and yet it matters. Humanity reached, touched, and learned, even imperfectly, even briefly, because reaching matters. If the universe offered one fleeting, transformative opportunity, would you take it or hesitate? If this journey sparks awe, curiosity, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 15. We're deep into this journey now, and I love that you're still with me. Let's keep going. After part 14, I kept thinking about urgency. 3-eye Atlas doesn't wait. It doesn't pause. It doesn't give reminders. Every day, every hour, it moves farther from our solar system, and every second counts. And yet, that urgency is what fuels creativity, daring, and human ingenuity. Let's step back and think about the people behind the mission. Imagine scientists huddled in control rooms, engineers double-checking calculations, mission planners adjusting schedules. The tension is electric. Every decision matters. Every misstep could mean losing the comet forever. And yet, they're energized by it. That mix of fear and hope produces brilliance. It's the kind of pressure that makes legends out of ordinary humans. Here's a futuristic concept: a swarm of microprobes, each with a specialized focus: dust, gas, imaging. Some may fail, some may succeed, but collectively they paint a mosaic of information about an alien star system. It's messy, it's fragile, it's audacious, and it's deeply human. Now, the science. 3-eye Atlas could carry organic molecules, exotic isotopes, and dust grains untouched by our sun. Even a brief flyby could answer questions about planetary formation, interstellar chemistry, and whether the building blocks of life are common in the galaxy. A tiny visitor passing through our solar system could reshape our understanding of the universe. Philosophically, the comet doesn't care. It doesn't pause. It doesn't wait. And yet, humanity chooses to act, to observe, to measure, to reach. That act of curiosity, even against impossible odds, is profoundly human. Quick reflection. Have you ever felt compelled to pursue something fleeting, knowing failure was likely but the potential reward was immense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this cosmic adventure. Let's discuss practical challenges. Launch windows are narrow. Trajectories must be precise. Probes operate semi-autonomously due to communication delays. Funding and risk assessments create intense pressure. Yet these constraints also make the effort meaningful. Risk amplifies reward. Imagine a microprobe streaking past 3-eye Atlas, milliseconds of observation, data captured, signals sent home. Then, silence. The comet continues, ancient and indifferent, and humanity, fragile and small, has reached out, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Quick check-in. Would you act on a rare, fleeting opportunity knowing the odds of success are low, but the potential reward was immense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this journey inspires awe and curiosity, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the cosmos. Before we close part 15, picture this. The comet drifts farther into interstellar space. Our encounter is brief, almost invisible, and yet it matters. Humanity reached, touched, and learned, even imperfectly, even briefly, because reaching matters. If the universe offered one fleeting, transformative chance, would you take it or hesitate? If this story sparks curiosity, awe, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the cosmos. All right, part 16. We're well past halfway of our cosmic journey, and I love that you're still here. Let's dive even deeper. After part 15, I kept thinking about perspective. From Earth, 3I-ATLS looks like a tiny streak of light, but zoom out, and it's an ancient traveler crossing the galaxy for millions, maybe billions of years. And we, tiny humans, are deciding whether we'll reach out, even briefly, to touch it. That gap between our scale and the comet's, it's humbling. Let's revisit the human element. Picture scientists and engineers in labs and control rooms, coffee in hand, screens filled with data, trajectories, and simulations. Every move matters, every second counts. And yet, the thrill of potentially making first contact with something interstellar keeps them going. It's pressure and wonder combined, the kind of tension that produces brilliance and obsession. Here's a cutting-edge concept being discussed: a distributed swarm of microprobes, each specialized. Some analyze dust, others volatile gases, others capture high-resolution images. Some will fail, some will succeed, but collectively, they create a mosaic of knowledge about this alien visitor. It's messy, risky, and beautiful, everything exploration should be. Now, the science. 3I-ATLS could carry compounds we've never observed, organic molecules hinting at prebiotic chemistry, exotic isotopes, dust grains from a star system completely alien to our own. Even a fleeting flyby could revolutionize planetary science, chemistry, and our understanding of life's building blocks across the galaxy. A tiny visitor, passing silently, could answer questions humanity has asked for centuries. Philosophical layer. The comet owes us nothing. It doesn't pause, it doesn't wait, and yet humanity chooses to observe it, to reach out, to measure. That act of curiosity is what defines us. Quick reflection. Have you ever reached for something fleeting, knowing the chance of success was small, but the reward could change everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this cosmic adventure. Practical challenges. Narrow launch windows, precise trajectory calculations, autonomous probe operations due to communication delays, funding and risk management pressures. Yet these constraints make the effort meaningful. The risk heightens the reward. Imagine a probe streaking past 3I-ATLS, milliseconds of observation, data captured, signals transmitted home, then silence. The comet continues, indifferent and ancient, and humanity, small and fragile, has reached out, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Check in. Would you seize a fleeting chance to witness the unknown, knowing failure was likely, but the impact could be immense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this journey sparks curiosity, awe, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. Before we close part 16, picture this. The comet drifts farther into interstellar space. Our encounter is brief, almost invisible, and yet it matters. Humanity reached, touched, and learned, even imperfectly, even briefly, because reaching matters. If the universe offered a single, fleeting, transformative opportunity, would you take it or hesitate? If this story inspires awe or curiosity, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 17. We're still voyaging through this story, and I love that you're here. Let's dive deeper. After part 16, I kept thinking about momentum. 3i Atlas isn't waiting for anyone. Every second, every minute, it moves farther from the sun, farther from Earth, farther from our reach. And yet, for a brief instant, the universe offers humanity a chance, a fleeting opportunity to learn, to touch, to explore. That fleeting nature is both terrifying and exhilarating. Let's talk about the people behind the chase. Picture engineers tweaking trajectories, scientists reviewing data, mission planners calculating launch windows down to milliseconds. Every choice matters. Every delay risks missing the comet entirely. And yet they thrive under this pressure. That mix of fear, hope, and excitement drives discovery. It's what makes us human, small, fragile, yet audacious. Here's a daring concept. A swarm of microprobes, each specialized for a different task: dust collection, gas analysis, imaging. Most may fail, a few will succeed, and together they can reveal a story of a star system light years away. It's chaotic, risky, and beautiful, the essence of exploration. Now, the science. 3i Atlas is a time capsule from another star. Exotic isotopes never seen before in our solar system, organic molecules hinting at prebiotic chemistry, dust grains that have drifted for millions or billions of years. Even a brief encounter could revolutionize our understanding of planetary formation, chemistry, and the universality of life's building blocks. A tiny visitor, moving silently, could answer questions humans have pondered for centuries. Philosophical layer. The comet owes us nothing. It doesn't wait, it doesn't acknowledge us. And yet humanity reaches out, observes, measures, attempts to understand. That act of curiosity in the face of indifference defines us. Quick reflection. Have you ever acted on a fleeting opportunity knowing success was uncertain but potentially transformative? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this cosmic adventure. Practical challenges. Launch windows are narrow. Trajectories require extreme precision. Probes must operate autonomously due to communication delays. Funding and risk constraints amplify pressure. Yet these constraints make the mission meaningful. Risk increases reward. Picture a microprobe streaking past 3i Atlas, milliseconds of observation, data captured, signals sent home. then silence. The comet continues, ancient and indifferent, and humanity, small and fragile, has reached, even briefly, even imperfectly. Because trying matters. Check in. Would you take a high-risk, fleeting chance at discovery, knowing success was likely, but potentially transformative? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this journey sparks curiosity, awe, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. Before we close part 17, picture this. The comet drifts farther into interstellar space. Our encounter is brief, almost invisible, and yet it matters. Humanity reached, touched, and learned, even imperfectly, even briefly, because reaching matters. If the universe offered a fleeting, transformative opportunity, would you act or hesitate? If this story inspires curiosity, awe, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 18. We're still deep in this journey, and I love that you're sticking with me. Let's dive further. After part 17, I kept thinking about scale and fragility. 3I Atlas is a tiny streak of light from our vantage point, yet it has traversed billions of kilometers, crossing the galaxy over millions, maybe billions of years. And here we are, small humans, deciding whether we'll reach out, even briefly, to touch it. The scale is humbling, and yet the possibility is exhilarating. Whew, let's look at the human side again. Scientists, engineers, and mission planners are working under intense pressure. Every calculation, every adjustment could make the difference between success and missing the comet entirely. And yet, the thrill of potentially touching a piece of another star system keeps them going. It's awe, fear, and excitement all wrapped into one heartbeat. That's the essence of exploration, audacity paired with fragility. Here's an ambitious idea: a swarm of microprobes, each built for speed and specialization, some for imaging, some for gas analysis, some for dust capture. Some will fail, some will succeed, and together they create a patchwork story of a star system far, far away. It's chaotic, risky, beautiful, and utterly human. Now, the science. 3I Atlas is essentially a time capsule from another star. Dust grains that formed around alien suns, organic molecules hinting at prebiotic chemistry, exotic isotopes that have never been observed in our solar system. Even a brief flyby could rewrite our understanding of planetary formation, chemistry, and the distribution of life's building blocks across the galaxy. A fleeting visitor, silent and indifferent, could answer questions humanity has asked for centuries. Philosophical reflection. The comet owes us nothing. It doesn't pause, it doesn't wait, it doesn't notice us. And yet, humanity chooses to observe it, reach out, and attempt to understand it. That act of curiosity is what defines us. Quick reflection. Have you ever acted on a fleeting opportunity, knowing the outcome was uncertain but potentially transformative? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this cosmic adventure. Practical challenges: narrow launch windows, precise trajectory calculations, autonomous probe operations due to communication delays, funding and risk assessments amplify pressure. Yet these constraints make the attempt meaningful. Risk heightens the reward. Picture a microprobe streaking past 3I Atlas. Milliseconds of observation, data captured, signals sent home. Then silence. The comet continues, ancient and indifferent, and humanity, small and fragile, has reached out, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Check-in. Would you take a high-risk, fleeting chance at discovery, knowing failure was likely but success could be monumental? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story sparks curiosity, awe, or wonder, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. Before we close part 18, picture this. The comet drifts farther into interstellar space. Our encounter is brief, almost invisible, and yet it matters. Humanity reached, touched, and learned, even imperfectly, even briefly, because reaching matters. If the universe offered a fleeting, transformative opportunity, would you act or hesitate? If this story inspires curiosity, awe, or reflection, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 19. We're deep into this cosmic journey now, and I love that you're still here with me. Let's keep going. After part 18, I kept thinking about time and impermanence. 3I Atlas isn't waiting for anyone. Every moment it moves farther from the sun, from Earth, from our reach. Its journey through the galaxy has spanned millions, maybe billions of years, and our chance to study it is measured in weeks. That fleeting nature is both terrifying and exhilarating. Let's revisit the human element. Picture engineers fine-tuning probes, scientists adjusting calculations, and mission planners double-checking trajectories. Every decision carries weight. Every second counts. And yet, they're energized by it. The tension, the mix of fear, excitement, and hope fuels brilliance. That's humanity at its best, fragile, daring, and persistent. Here's an audacious idea. A swarm of microprobes, each built for a different task: dust capture, gas analysis, high-resolution imaging. Most may fail, a few will succeed. Together, they create a mosaic of data from a star system light years away. It's chaotic, risky, beautiful, and completely human. Now the science. 3I Atlas is a time capsule from another star system. Organic molecules hinting at prebiotic chemistry, exotic isotopes never seen in our solar system, dust grains traveling for millions of years. Even a brief encounter could revolutionize planetary science, chemistry, and our understanding of life's building blocks. A small, silent visitor could answer questions humans have asked for centuries. Philosophical reflection. The comet owes us nothing. It doesn't pause, it doesn't wait, it doesn't acknowledge our curiosity. And yet, humanity reaches out, observes, measures. That act of curiosity is what defines us. Quick reflection. Have you ever seized a fleeting opportunity, knowing success was uncertain but potentially transformative? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this journey resonates, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You're part of this journey. Practical challenges: narrow launch windows, precise trajectory calculations, autonomous probe operations due to communication delays, funding and risk management pressures. Yet these constraints make the attempt meaningful. Risk amplifies reward. Picture a microprobe streaking past 3I Atlas, milliseconds of observation, data captured, signals transmitted home. Then silence. The comet continues, ancient and indifferent. And humanity, small and fragile, has reached out, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Check-in. Would you act on a rare, fleeting chance at discovery, knowing success was uncertain but potentially monumental? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this journey sparks awe, curiosity, or wonder, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. Before we close part 19, picture this. The comet drifts farther into interstellar space. Our encounter is brief, almost invisible, and yet it matters. Humanity reached, touched, and learned, even imperfectly, even briefly, because reaching matters. If the universe offered a fleeting, transformative opportunity, would you act or hesitate? If this story inspires awe or curiosity, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the cosmos. All right, part 20, the final chapter of this journey. We've been traveling together through this story of 3I-Atlas, and now it's time to bring it all home. After part 19, I kept thinking about closure and reflection. 3I-Atlas is leaving our solar system, never to return. Its passage is brief but profound, and in chasing it, observing it, learning from it, even imperfectly, we've glimpsed a piece of something much larger than ourselves. It's a cosmic reminder. Some moments are fleeting, but their impact lasts forever. Let's step back and think about the people behind the mission one last time. Scientists, engineers, mission planners. They've been living with this comet in their minds for weeks. Sleepless nights, coffee-fueled calculations, heartbeats synced to its trajectory. The pressure was immense, the stakes were high, and yet through it all, they remained driven by wonder. That mix of fear, excitement, and awe, that's what makes humans explorers. Here's a final ambitious vision, a coordinated effort of probes, telescopes, and sensors, each capturing different aspects of the comet. Some succeed, some fail. Together, they form a tapestry of knowledge about a star system light years away. It's messy, risky, brilliant, and it embodies the audacity of human curiosity. Now, the science. 3I-Atlas carries secrets from another star. Organic molecules that hint at life's building blocks. Dust grains older than our own solar system. Isotopic signatures unlike anything we've seen before. Even a single flyby could reshape our understanding of chemistry, planetary formation, and the distribution of life's essential ingredients across the galaxy. A fleeting visitor, silent and indifferent, has become a teacher. Philosophically, the comet owes us nothing. It doesn't stop, it doesn't wait, it doesn't acknowledge humanity. And yet we reach, we observe, we learn. That act of curiosity, that willingness to try, is profoundly human. Quick reflection? Have you ever chased something fleeting, knowing the odds were against you, but the possibility of discovery made it worth it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this journey has inspired awe and curiosity, hit like and subscribe to Mind Science Journey. You've been part of this adventure from start to finish. Let's picture the finale. A microprobe streaks past 3I-Atlas. Milliseconds of data are captured, signals transmitted home. Then silence. The comet continues into interstellar space, ancient and indifferent, and humanity has reached out, touched, and learned, even briefly, even imperfectly, because trying matters. Here's the ultimate reflection. Our encounter with 3I-Atlas was fleeting, but it matters because it reminds us what it means to explore, to wonder, to reach beyond ourselves. We cannot control the universe. We cannot make it wait, but we can choose to engage, to observe, to learn, to try. And in that choice, we define our place in the cosmos. Check in one last time. If given a single chance to touch the unknown, would you reach or hesitate? Comments below. I want to hear your answers. And if this story has moved you, hit like, subscribe to Mind Science Journey, and share it with someone who loves the mysteries of the universe. What does chasing the unknown mean to you? How far would you go to witness the fleeting and extraordinary? If this journey has sparked curiosity, awe, or wonder, Join Mind Science Journey for more explorations, reflections, and cosmic stories. Your curiosity keeps the adventure alive. Part 20 complete. Thank you for traveling through this story with me. 3I-Atlas is gone, but our journey of curiosity and exploration continues. Universe.